Hi, everyone. You are watching TBI TV, brought to you by the Functional Neurology Center. I am Amy Zellmer, and today we're talking about anxiety. So, anxiety. Who here hasn't dealt with some anxiety since their brain injury? I know for me, I didn't exactly know that it was anxiety in the beginning. Right after my injury, I wouldn't say I had it right away. It definitely took several months to develop. And in the beginning, I just knew like my heart was kind of fluttery and I just didn't always feel right. I'd get this weird feeling like when I was out in public, like at maybe a shopping mall. But I never really understood it to be anxiety because I really had never had anxiety before. So it was about 8 months after my injury. If you don't know my story, I fell on the ice. I was walking down an incline driveway and I slipped on the ice. There was black ice that I didn't see and landed on my head. So that happened in February. So when we fast forward to October and we started getting our first snow, sleety rain type stuff, all of a sudden I just had this like crippling, my heart rate was like out of control. I couldn't breathe. I really thought I was having a heart attack. And I called my friend and asked her to take me to the emergency room. And she showed up and was like, I think maybe you're having a panic attack. And I was like, oh, maybe, okay, maybe. And then it wasn't quite as scary. And she hung out with me and we watched some Christmas movies. And it took a while for me to get over that particular panic attack. And the next day I went to my doctor and had told him what had happened. And he said to me that he was expecting it, that was common after a brain injury. And it was kind of like, well, why didn't anybody tell me that, right? But I just dealt with it for the next maybe 6 months. And then when I went back to my neurologist, who just kept telling me that there was nothing they could do for me, she did send me to the neuropsychologist to have the neuropsych exam. So if any of you have had that done, and that's a lovely 4 to 6 hour exam where they kind of force you to do things that you're not able to do. So anyway, when I got my results back, the neuropsychologist told me I was just depressed. She wanted to put me on Ritalin, antidepressants, and sleeping pills, which I instinctually knew were not going to help me. I said, no, thank you. I'd rather try to find, natural ways of dealing with this. And so I just kind of dealt with the anxiety. I got back into doing yoga. I hadn't been doing yoga since my accident. So I did start doing yoga and meditation and deep breathing exercises again. And that did help a lot. I've been using my essential oils the whole time in my recovery, and they definitely would help if I felt a panic attack coming on. I was able to kind of keep it at bay by combining my essential oils and my meditation and yoga. But it still never like went away. It was always there. So fast forward to the 2.5 year mark when I finally met Dr. Schmo at the Functional Neurology Center. And I did a week-long intensive with him. And one of the first things he explained to me is that after a brain injury, we get stuck in fight or flight mode. Our central nervous system is all messed up and doesn't know which way is up and which way is down. And so we get stuck in this fight or flight mode. And that is what causes us to have anxiety. When your body is constantly like in fight or flight mode, it's ready to ward off the intruders, so to speak. It's constantly on edge. Your heart rate's always going to kind of be high and fluttery. I had a lot of startle reflex, which I didn't know what that was until it was pointed out to me. But if anybody was in like my left side, the left side's where I fell. So I think my body was extra protective of that side. So if he would come from behind me on the left, it would like kind of make me flinch and startle me. And so he was able. So essentially what we had to do is get my vestibular system fixed. My vestibular system didn't know where I was in space. That's why I was constantly dizzy and off balance. So once we got that stuff brought down from like a 9 out of 10 to like a 3, the anxiety just simply went away. And to this day, I very rarely have anxiety anymore. I will have occasions, like if it is icy and slippery out, it stresses me out. It freaks me out a little bit. But I know that that's going to happen. And I just, really take it one step at a time and know that if I have a little bit of anxiety, that's okay. I also started using CBD oil about 2 years ago, and that has really helped with sleep and anxiety and just overall general inflammation in my body. So CBD has been a great product for me to add as well. But, to talk about anxiety as a whole, it's only natural after a brain injury that you're going to have anxiety. And I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I will say the vast majority of us probably do not need anxiety medication. It's likely not going to help. It's just going to mask some of the symptoms. And for me personally, I was still trying to heal my brain. So I remember looking at the doctor and saying, how is this going to help my brain injury? And she even said, well, it's not. You just have depression. So I really instinctually knew that putting an antidepressant into my body, it alters your brain chemistry. That's how it works. And so I knew that that is not what I wanted to put into my body. And so I chose not to take it. And I'm glad that I never did. I know a lot of people have been prescribed antidepressants. And after working with the right provider like Dr. Schmo, they've been able to get off that medication. And it was important to them to get off the medication because you're basically putting a toxin into your body and altering your brain and blood chemistry. So that's just my personal opinion. I know for some people they absolutely need an antidepressant, and there's no shame in taking an antidepressant. I just want you all to understand that you need to get to the root cause of your anxiety. And if you don't get to that root, you're never going to get rid of the anxiety. You're only going to mask some of the symptoms. So for me, it was my vestibular system, which was causing the dizziness and the fight or flight response. And so I just really want you all to understand that if you're still dealing with any of that stuff, there are providers out there that can help you. It's, the longer it's been since your injury, the longer it might take to, bring some of those issues down. But there's always hope. It doesn't matter how far out you are from your injury. There is always hope. I have seen patients come through the clinic that are 10, 20 years out from an injury, and they have just remarkable gains during their week-long intensive. So I really do want you to understand that there are ways to fix the root cause of what's causing all these symptoms. The symptoms themselves are not the problem. The symptoms are simply the symptom of the root problem. And so you need to get to that root and fix it before you can start getting rid of those other symptoms. So anyway, I hope that this has been helpful for you. Like I said, it's incredibly common after you hit your head. Well, as we know, you don't even have to hit your head. But after a brain injury of any type, it's incredibly common to have anxiety. And also, if you're having irregular heart rates, and feelings like you're going to pass out, cold fingers or numb fingers and toes. I do also want you to check out one of my videos on YouTube about dysautonomia. That is also a very, very common problem after a brain injury. And again, it's a lot of the same symptoms as anxiety, and they very much kind of go hand in hand. So do also check out that video on my YouTube channel with Dr. Brian Sass talking about dysautonomia. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to like, comment, and share this video. The more people that see it, the more awareness that we're able to raise. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.